Welcome to the Shark Tank Podcast. Each week, one of the best entrepreneurs from ABC's network smash hit Shark Tank teaches you how to swim with the sharks without being eaten alive. And now your host, serial entrepreneur, TJ Hale.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Shark Tank Podcast. I bet you're thinking to yourself, what are we going to do today? Well, that's a very, very good question. We're going to play a little bit of Shallow Hal. You're going to realize that for your entire life, you've been doing something very fundamental to your survival exactly the wrong way. That's right. We've got Bobby and Judy from Squatty Potty. Bobby, Judy, how are you?
Hi, TJ.
Hi, we're doing great, TJ.
So I'm sure people are thinking, wait a second, Squatty Potty. Oh, the toilet one. I remember that one. I love that one because that's what people have said when I showed them my Squatty Potty. Is there anyone who ever doesn't give you that reaction the first time they see your product? Do they just kind of put their hands on their face and go, oh my gosh, I have to try that?
No, it's actually, well, our experience is it's changing now that we've gotten a little more recognition. But, you know, right off the bat, people thought we were crazy.
Yes, they did.
What level of crazy did they categorize you as? Like, can you take us through the 6 levels of, craziness? Because you've obviously had to pass through a couple of them with the Squatty Potty, right?
The first thing we ever tried was a little trade show locally. It was called What Women Want.
Women definitely did not want the Squatty Potty.
They were there to buy jewelry and perfume and massages.
So did you get escorted out of the building or did you make it to the end of the trade show?
We actually had a booth and everything.
We set up our booth.
And the women would walk by and go as far on the other side of the aisle. They definitely didn't want to talk about their elimination issues. And I had one woman come up to me and say, well, we came here today because this is what women want. And I don't know if this is what women want to hear. So it was a little bit intimidating, but it's a matter of getting people used to the idea and talking about a very, very important thing in their life. And through the last couple of years, I think that we've gained a little respect. And with the help of Dr. Oz talking more about it and him and Oprah totally opening up that subject, people are really more into the issue, and it's not such an embarrassment to them anymore, a lot of people.
Okay, so before we go any further, for people who remember the product but don't maybe remember all the details, let's take them back to your pitch, which was very good, and give them a little taste of
Hello, Sharks.
What happened.
I'm Bobby Edwards. This is my mother, Judy, and we're here seeking $350,000 for a 5% share in our simple product that changes lives.
Simply put, we're in the business to help you do your business.
Now, there's something that each and every one of you are doing wrong every day of your lives, and it's adversely affecting your health.
Hold that business.
The American toilet.
There's very few people that realize that the toilet and the sitting position that it puts you in plays a big part in a lot of the colon issues that we have, such as constipation.
I was one of them.
Let me show you why. Anatomically, we have a muscle called the puborectalis muscle that wraps around the base of our colon, forming a kink. And only when we are in a squat position does this muscle completely relax and allows us to have a complete and full elimination of our waste.
So we've come up with the perfect solution. Squatty Potty.
Now, you had this great graphic, and there were some incredible facials from the sharks as you were speaking, but the graphic almost was like someone hooking, like fish hooking or using a hanger to hook the colon, and it just looks so painful and uncomfortable, and I thought, well, great visual. And then as soon as you sit on the Squatty Potty, it's just like free-flowing, right? There's no restriction whatsoever. I thought, this should be good. This should be really good. So take us back to that night. Actually, no, let's go even further back. Like, a lot of the times on Shark Tank, I think, oh, I should have thought of this, or, oh man, I had that idea once, but I never did anything. This one blindsided me, and probably most of America. Like, why wasn't I thinking, man, I need to poop better? I spend so much time sleeping, eating, and on the toilet. It's a no-brainer. How did you come up with this?
Like we said on the show, necessity is the mother of all invention, and our mother was constipated.
Yeah, this mom was constipated for a lot of years, and I had tried everything in the book. And when I bought a new home, I put in a taller toilet because I'm getting older. I thought, one of these days I might need this handicap height toilet.
Wow.
And it just made my issues even worse.
It exacerbated the problem.
Yeah.
She was going the wrong way. She was, going more into a standing stance instead of a squatting stance, and that exacerbated her problem.
So then I researched even further and talked to a therapist, and a therapist told me that I should always have my knees above my waist when I went to the bathroom because that helped in elimination. And I looked at her and I says, I am 65 years old. Why haven't I heard this before? I mean, it just seemed really strange to me. And I went home and researched it and found out that 2/3 of the world's population is still squat, and they do not have the colon issues and problems that we have. And then anatomically, it is proven that, the muscle relaxes when we squat and all this. It just totally made sense. And so I got a little stool and tripped over it at night and said, this is not going to work. So I didn't really have room for it. It wasn't the right height, the right width. It just didn't put me into a squatting position. So around our kitchen table, Bobby came up with the idea of wraparound stool that would
kind of a horseshoe-shaped design that you can get into a more natural stance, and then tucks away neatly when it's not in use. So it's always there, and you can still maneuver around your bathroom without having the stool there.
How great of a son is Bobby? I think if my mom even started 3 words of this conversation to me, I'd be like, "Oh, got a phone call, gotta go, Mom. Sorry," and that would have been it.
Oh, we're a pretty open family. I have 7 children. Bobby's the 5th of 7. Okay. So, we've dealt with a lot of poop throughout the years.
The truth is, everyone poops, and nobody wants to talk about it. But that's part of our mission, and part of our goal is to tear down the taboo of pooping and. Because as important as what we eat and what diet, nutrition, we talk about that at length, but nobody talks about elimination, and it's very important to our health. And so many people are constipated, so many people are suffering from hemorrhoids and other even more severe colon issues that all stem from constipation. And constipation is a big problem, and for many people, they're eating healthy, they're eating fiber, they're eating the correct diet, but it's a mechanical thing. We're anatomically designed to squat to eliminate. That's the way it was for millennia until the modern toilet came along, and it requires we sit. That's the fault, and that's where the Squatty Potty fixes that problem. It allows you to use your toilet that's sanitary and that we all have, but in the more healthy squat position.
Now, you've got this idea, you realize that it's very prevalent in other parts of the world and there's potential for it. At this point, Bobby, I don't know much about you, so I don't know if you're very entrepreneurially minded, if this is right up your alley, or if you're having these self-doubts of, would anybody else, can I sell this to anyone? Can I try it out on the neighbor? Can I put it on Amazon? What happens from the point that mom loves it to let's see what happens next?
Well, it kind of fell into our lap just because of the fact it works.
Well, we did. We actually we made some prototypes, and then mom gave them out as Christmas presents.
And my kids thought I was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I could see that. Hold on, Judy, what do you usually give out? Is it different every year? My grandma does cereal boxes because there's so many grandkids. How off the charts was this for weirdness?
This was weird. This was
in Christmas of 2011, everyone got a Squatty Potty.
2010.
What is it, 2010?
Yeah, 2010.
Anyway, everyone got a Squatty Potty, and they were kind of thinking, mom's always been more entrepreneurial than I have, but
and I've always been very health conscious. I want to do things myself, and I want to fix. With a big family, I didn't have the money to run into a doctor, so I learned how to fix things myself. And I think that's where the whole and my kids are the same way.
And I think that really, we had something that we knew that helped. And when you have a secret and you have knowledge, you want to share that with somebody, and then people were receptive to it. People that were suffering were receptive to it, whether they told us to our face or called us later that night and said, "Hey, can you give me one of those Squatty Potties? I have an uncle or an aunt that is suffering," and it's them. But anyway, so I realized what a problem it really was, how prevalent constipation was. And we had a solution. And that's kind of when the light went on that, we need to share this secret with everyone, because not only can we make some money, but we can help people out. We can change lives.
Now, for those listening, there's some reasons I was really excited about talking to both of you. And that is because every now and then there are Shark Tank episodes where the numbers are just a cut above what most of the people on the show are doing or the stage that they're at. So when you said, I've done $2 million, or we've done $2 million, $1 million in the first year, 2.7 million year two, and 2 million in the first 2 quarters of your third year, I had the same reaction the Sharks did. I kind of went, whoa, okay, let's dive into this a little bit. So with the entrepreneurs that listen, they always email about how do I get on Shark Tank? How long before they call me back? How do I get better marketing? Who can I talk to at this retail outlet? It seems to me that those numbers would solve all of those problems pretty easily. So I want to talk about how you did it, what you learned, maybe a mistake or two that you made, but kind of just break down the story of how that measured with your expectations when you started selling this and how you kept up, because that's a lot of product for a first-year company.
Well, my first thoughts was we knew we had a product that would help a lot of people. And it was more about people that were really suffering and needed the help more than, I didn't think it was going to be a big money thing at all. I just wanted to share the knowledge that I had. It was such an aha moment for me to discover something for me that I'd been dealing with for so many years. That was more the drive behind Squatty Potty for me than anything else. And but you have a product that nobody wants to talk about. How do you promote and how do you market a product like that? And that was the real challenge, I think, the first year in business. So we approached it maybe from a funny angle. We couldn't make claims. We could talk about the anatomy, but we really couldn't make claims.
What claims did you want to make? I know the FDA restricts what you can say, but what kind of things are we talking about? What are you going to claim?
Anything from constipation to colon cancer, right?
Right.
To anything in between. There's a lot of theories out there that health begins in the gut, and in a healthy gut transfers to a healthy entire whole body. But if you're not eliminating daily or frequently, then that can cause a host of other diseases. So those are the claims that we had to kind of dance around and play with. But I recognize the novelty of Squatty Potty, and we weren't afraid to play that card. The novelty card worked with marketing. And so as soon as that kind of clicked in my head that, first of all, we had a product that, worked, then we have a product that is novel and funny. And, that's kind of when I was like, this is something that could catch on because it's funny. You're squatting to poop. How funny is that? And it's healthy. So, and who doesn't want to be healthy? Who doesn't want to be healthier?
Healthy is big right now. It's really hot.
And who doesn't like to say the name Squatty Potty?
Well,
so true.
That was
a lot of people call up and they have all these jingles with the song, and they said their kids are singing it all day long.
Next time I go to some kind of meeting and it says, "Hello, my name is," I'm writing Squatty Potty on the name tag.
Yes.
I'm not joking. Just as a conversation starter. Well, so take us through, since you did so well so fast. For the listeners, for Shark Tank Nation, take them through the journey, or I hate that word journey, sorry. Take them through the story of what you did, how you sourced it so quickly, how you got product to the market, how you priced it. Just kind of take us through the exodus of the business.
Yeah. So, we started off making them in a wood shop that a neighbor had. And, we were selling, just kind of to family and friends. And then we built the website. We had a kind of, let's put this online and let's search engine optimize this website so that anyone that's looking for squatting to poop, which there were a lot of people talking about constipation and squatting as kind of an alternative health thing at that time.
You know what? Let me detour real quick. Competition. Was anybody else selling any type of product, or was it like blogs about the benefits and how great it is and you should try it? I mean, was anybody selling a product?
There was a contraption called Nature's Platform, which is still around, and it's large and it fits around your toilet all the way over your toilet. It's essentially
it works very well. If you like
it's like a big platform with a hole in it. So you really climb up on it and squat into that hole.
I'm picturing like a spa mold, where like you lay into a spa and it's contoured. Is it something like that?
No, it's like just a large platform on.
It's like a card table wrapped with a hole in the middle for your toilet.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good.
That's exactly what it is.
But it's it's a great idea and it works. It allows you to squat. So we really and he had a lot of the guy that had invented that or had promoted that had a lot of information on squatting, and you can see who's searching that. And the amount of keyword searches and stuff for that. And I realized a lot of people were searching for something. So we kind of just built this site so people searching for this content could find us. And then we started selling a few units, it's like 1 a day, 2 a day.
And one happened to end up with a staff member of Dr. Oz. We had just moved out of our garage. We'd started selling a few that we couldn't handle in our garage anymore. I just moved into a little warehouse. And one of the staff members,
before Dr. Oz, though, we had sent several out to influential health bloggers, like
smart.
Even like a vegan blog did a post on it, and she had something like 35,000 followers. These weren't large. These were people that were accessible that I could say, hey, look, I've got this new tool. It's a health tool. It's a poop stool. Here's the information about it. If you like it, write about it. If you don't, write about it. I don't care. This is our product. And people started writing about it.
You know what? This seems so simple and intuitive, and obvious, but there are so many people who ask, what's the best way to market? How do I get on social media? And I always say, let's leverage the power of existing audiences.
Yeah. I mean, even smaller audiences count. Even people with, a 5,000 or 300 person base, they influence people and they'll influence somebody to buy a Squatty Potty.
And be prepared to give away a lot of product.
Yeah,
you have to get it out there to people.
We sent out several dozen or even 100 stools at the very beginning, just to these people without any expectation.
You know what? Let me actually touch on that because I sent the invitation out to you. I get a lot of free Shark Tank product. I'm still behind on getting all the YouTube stuff up because it's just a lot of work, but you're the first person where I sent an invite to the show and without asking, I had product in the mail like 3 days later. And I got to say, I kind of thought, I told my wife, I go, this is part of the reason these guys are slaughtering it. The product's here already. I can test it. I can write about it. I can talk about it. But what I want to do on the show is I went in, I didn't really have to go that bad, but I couldn't resist. Like I went in, unboxed it, hopped on that thing, and I was giggling uncontrollably. Awesome. I wasn't going to tell the story, but I was laughing hysterically about how cool I thought the product was, and I use it religiously. It's great.
I just kind of had the attitude, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I know enough people that have liked it and it's helped them that I'm not trying to sell it to everyone. I'm trying to find the people that this works for.
Well, we've done a survey, and over 80%, was it 85% of the people who buy a Squatty Potty love it. So we're confident that most people will love their Squatty Potty, and the people who don't a lot of them, they don't have the flexibility in the knees or in their back.
They eliminate health. They don't have a problem with constipation.
Or they're full of
Yeah, or some of the other issues. Constipation isn't just anatomy issue. There's other like medications. There's 2 or 3 reasons why you can have constipation, but we don't claim that it helps all constipation issues, but most of them will see a dramatic difference.
So let's continue taking this in stages. Now you're getting product out there. You're selling quite a bit. You've got a warehouse. Talk to us about...
Yeah, we're giving it to influential people who will write about it. Small little blogs. I'm talking, and then...
and by the way, everyone we sent one to absolutely loved it.
Most everyone, yeah. We didn't have any bad reviews.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And then we got it in the hands of a producer for Dr. Oz, and she put it on the show within our first year.
We didn't even know that she had bought one, and just called us out of the blue one day.
Did you ask her where she learned about it? Where she found it?
She just saw it online. She had searched it.
Okay.
She was doing a search, and the actual spot that we got on was not a big spot. It wasn't like a feature. It was kind of like a silly
gizmos and gadgets. Do they really work? And
silly or health trends. Health trends. It was called health fads or trends. And One of them was like a suit that you try on and it makes you sweat, and one of them was like snake venom, and the other one was the Squatty Potty. And so then he had this meter, like, well, does this work or not work? And it goes back and forth, and it landed on it works. And so then he explained how the Squatty Potty works and why he says it and why it works. So we got it works review.
A big thumbs up.
A big thumbs up. And that's kind of why we, that boosted, it would help anyone to get down on Dr. Oz.
Yeah, it's funny because so many people want to get in the big media spots, and but had they said it doesn't work, I'm sure that wouldn't have been the best thing in the world.
We didn't know what they were going to say either until that day. We were all sitting grasping hands going, oh no, it could go either way. It could go either way because we're in gadgets and gizmos, and it's like, and it worked. And then we were pretty confident that he would like it because he talked about the importance of squatting before. He had already explained that whole reason for squatting on his show before, and talked about the anatomy several times. So we knew that it was a product that he would like.
It strikes me as, it is true. There are things that people do all around the world that we do differently here in America. You got squatting, you got soccer, you got a couple others probably too, but whatever. But I look at this and say, you're still making it in America. Your margins are fantastic. I would just assume that, like most successful Shark Tank entrepreneurs, that competitors would flood the market after the word gets out. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, we have a couple competitors, of knockoffs. That one of them was from a consultant that worked for us for a year.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
But you move forward, and we're the original. We're the ones with the Squatty Potty name. We do have patents, so our designs are protected, our trademarks are protected. But the squat stool is it's not that proprietary. There are certain things that we mechanical patents for adjustable stools that we have, and we've secured other utility patents for other things, but we're the ones talking about changing the posture. We're the first to market. We're going to be the first to Bed Bath & Beyond and Target and Home Depot and Walgreens, major outlet stores. So we're going to be the one.
And we're the ones with the name. That was the thing that as we set out to put together this product, it had never really been invented before, and so there really wasn't a name for a poop stool other than poop stool.
And I think we can compete.
So, like, giving it a name, now everyone's calling whatever they use in front of their toilet a Squatty Potty.
If they buy one of our competitors, they're still calling it a Squatty Potty. In fact, we've had people return their competitors' products to us thinking that it is a Squatty Potty.
Yeah, like they got the bad product. They got the lemon by accident.
No,
that's great.
So we're the Kleenex of the toilet stool world, and
yeah, you're the Post-it note, you're the Oprah, Madonna. Yeah. I mean, you're the name. That's great. I have a question about names, because names can be so important. I mean, what you just said is you've got not just branding, but you've got impression, right? They have it emblazoned in their minds that this is the product. No matter what else is out there, that's the one I want.
Yeah.
So what other names hit the poop chute before you chose Squatty Potty? Was there anything else that, like, you had to,
we didn't really
cast lots to choose from?
Yeah, we did, but we didn't really want to use the word poop because poop is an offensive term to a lot of people. And so we didn't really want to make it that
we were gonna call it the shit shelf.
You would come up with a lot of names, but we wanted to keep it.
I wanted to call
simple.
It Smooth Move.
Keep going.
What was the other one? Smooth Move was my big one, but it had already been taken by
another company. It
sounds like a Jamba Juice flavor.
Yeah, it wasn't a stool. It was something different.
It's like a tea. What was the other ones, Mom? I have them in my book from the very original days.
We had a whole list of names.
We had a whole list.
Those should be on your blog or on my blog.
Oh, we should. We should find that, because we actually bought all the URLs. To like. Poopstool.com, shit shelf, all these other names that we have.
Well, we asked our entire family too. I'd ask all my kids, my grandkids, what names you like.
Squat to Pot.
Yeah, Squat to Pot. And everybody just really loves Squatty Potty. It's easy to say. It's fun to say. It rhymes. Yeah. It makes light of a very serious subject. It makes it approachable. because it's a name everybody can say.
The feces footstool.
Yeah.
Get it? That's not that great. Oh, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, you should get those up on the blog. I would definitely post them. I think that's good for a laugh.
We actually have a new, several different new stools coming out, and every product we have to name it. And boy, I'll tell you, that's really been fun to go through some names. We have a little bidet we sell, and the name of it is Refresh It. So
the Refresh It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like mouthwash.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Well,
it's a mouthwash for your bottom.
It's great.
My mind is racing. We're going to need to change this.
It's another game changer.
Yeah. We're going to encourage people to put a refresh button on their toilet.
Well, let's fast forward to Shark Tank, because there's just a lot of great stuff that can come out of this conversation still. So, as I watched it, I thought, man, we're going to hit on every single one-liner and cliche, and everyone's going to want to get on the action. So I want to kind of lay the foundation for what didn't get mentioned in the tank, because I know there were some that must have got X'd out. But here's your...
How do you squeeze out a profit?
You want to hear about Squatty Potty profits?
Because you value this business at $7 million. That's a whole lot of poo-poo.
We're not in retail yet.
Holy crap, you're selling...
Holy crap, right? There's a crap load of money in Squatty Potty.
No, seriously, you're selling $2.7 million online?
But guys, look, with those margins, you got to be pooping cash, right? What do you need $350,000 for?
So, I don't know if you listened to Howard Stern. He loves the Squatty Potty. He won't quit talking about the Squatty Potty.
That's a big deal, by the way.
When you try it, you'll see. It changes everything.
This is the first crappy investment I like.
Right.
So let's go back to the numbers for a second.
This is, we can make a crap load of money here and help people poop.
Look, I think you're about to get a lot of verbal diarrhea from Kevin. So let me clear the throne.
Okay.
It's a good one, Robert.
Everyone's having a good time when Mark Cuban's complimenting Robert Herjavec.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys had a cakewalk in there. Good times all around. Which ones got left out? I know if Damon had been there, he'd have gotten beeped a couple times.
Oh, wow. I was surprised when Kevin came right out and said, "This is the first crappy idea I like," because I was expecting,
I was expecting him to be a little brutal.
Tear us apart.
Well, okay, the theme on this show, though, is that typically people talk about how much they actually either are surprised by Kevin or just flat out like him, like the guy. So what was your experience?
I liked him. He was very good to us.
Yeah.
He wanted a piece of the action. And I really liked him a lot.
He didn't get it, though. Was that part of the plan going in? No Mr. Wonderful on our party?
This is one thing that I was surprised, and that they really are there to get a deal, and they got a deal. Lori got a deal. She got a steal.
She did.
By the way, we
did have the valuation at $7 million, and I was expecting to get full value, but they never give that there. Rarely do they give that there, unless I was just surprised that we didn't get full valuation, because we really had the numbers to back it up. But that's all right. But I was surprised that Kevin came right out and offered money right away. One thing that didn't get shown was Barbara getting up on the Squatty Potty and trying it out.
You didn't see that part.
You know what? I think I have seen that in the outtakes, though. And now I know exactly why I didn't air.
Yeah.
I know. She comes down and I'm like, oh no, this is a disaster.
She starts walking up on those heels.
In her heels.
I looked at her and said, I don't think you want to have those on.
Yeah, I remember a blur and a word that rhymes with squatty. It was pretty intense. So, wow. How long were you actually in the tank?
I thought it was more than.
I think it was about an hour, a little over an hour, maybe.
I thought it was an hour and a half, but I guess it was closer to an hour.
So you came out strong. I think Kevin was interested because your margins were fantastic. You're made in the USA. You mentioned it's $450 to produce, $25 direct to retail. And you even mentioned your cost of customer acquisition, which we haven't heard a lot of recently. You said for every dollar you spend on Howard Stern, you're getting a return of $4 or $5, which to me is stratospheric. And that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, Howard, it was different. He's a different game. He can talk about the product exactly and say what he wants to say. He doesn't have to dance around all that, censorship.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do like the as seen on TV.
Howard's not going to talk about something he doesn't like. He doesn't do that.
And his followers know that. And they trust him. Yeah,
they trust him. So we got lucky with Howard.
So how does it, explain to me the metrics. This is radio stuff, so obviously I'm interested. Regarding, a lot of the times on the radio shows, they talk about things they like, but this whole new trend of celebrities being paid to send out tweets, to do Facebook posts about certain products. And a lot of the times, it's bogus. How does he monetize his mention of your product? Because he does do live, he doesn't do live reads. He just speaks from the Howard Stern heart. How does that work? What's the organization?
Well, it started out organic and natural. He really liked the Squatty Potty. And again, that's kind of what drew me to the Squatty Potty, because the whole novelty aspect of it, right?
We were informed. We saw our cells really rocket, and we didn't know what it was. And we were informed by an advertising person that we had hired, and he told us that Howard Stern was talking about the Squatty Potty.
Okay.
So he just organically was talking about it, and then we got on board. We started sending him free product and we sent the whole station and we sent him a huge care package. And Robin, his co-host, liked it, and she was talking about it. And this is before we even signed on to sponsor, to advertise. Yeah. In fact, he started talking about it in December, and we didn't pay until June. So we had a full 6 months of kind of organic, him naturally just talking about the Squatty Potty. And again, that's what I was saying, kind of in my mind when we first started toying around marketing this and marketing a poop stool. How do you market this product? Do you go the health angle? Do you go the novelty? And we went in both, actually. And I think that really helped us, get. I could see that, and when Howard picked up on it, I was just thrilled. I mean, it was like, it was literally a gold mine. It was a vein. It was a vein of gold that didn't stop running out. And when it did, and then we started paying him. So he had already primed his audience essentially for this product. And when we started paying him, it was more natural. It seemed more real. And he really liked it. He loves the Squatty Potty. I don't know if you've heard any of his reads, but he gets it out and kisses it and talks to his Squatty Potty, and
he talks him and Jimmy.
He whispers to it.
Yeah, he
sweet
whispers to it. He thanks it. Oh, thank you, Squatty Potty. I love you. He's crazy. But I love him, because he really just talks. He's an honest guy. He's not gonna, if he doesn't like something, he's not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, good for you. So it's all live reads. Do you do any kind of pre-roll or like tape rolls, or is it all live?
No, he does. We do some taping.
We do. Yeah, no, it's. So you have to buy a certain amount of live reads, and then you can get the recorded lives as well.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But it was a good fit for our product. Howard was a good fit.
For entrepreneurs thinking of trying radio, I'm actually a big believer in, technically you've got Carolla and Stern, or, they're in the podcast realm as well as, I don't know about Stern for sure, because he's on satellite, but, being in the market, I know that podcasting is really, really picking up in popularity and momentum. I'm curious if overall with radio, is that the only place you've had success, or have you done other live reads or radio ads that that have brought back a profit for you?
No, this is kind of how you do it, is because hosts are looking for products to endorse, right? They need to pay the bills as well. But
tell you what,
I really feel that they really have to like your product in order to go with them. We've had some misses. We tried. Who did we try? Dr. The one you listened to. What's her?
Dr. Laura.
Dr. Laura. Yeah. It didn't work. She wasn't on board with it, and I think it came across in her reads. She didn't know what it was.
You can tell the difference.
That's too bad, because she's kind of got that whole Judge Judy thing. Like, if she tells her readers or listeners to do it, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to go buy one.
I just didn't get the feeling that she was really excited about talking about Squatty Potty.
Suppose not.
However, who else? There's been some other celebrities talk about it. We're kind of looking for that next vein of spokesperson.
It's too bad Billy Mays Hayes isn't around, because I could see him just going to town with this.
I know.
Billy Mays Hayes here with the Squatty Potty.
Who do we, we're open to suggestions if there's any entrepreneurs out there that could think of someone that could be a good pitch person for us.
Another vein I think that we have used and utilized, and that's in the medical field as well. When we first got started, we had a lot of pelvic floor clinics contact us, and they wanted stools in their offices. And so we do get a lot of doctor referrals, and that's another reason I think we've had success.
Send one to Tim Ferriss from 4 Hour Workweek, and send one to James Altucher in New York. Those are my 2 recommendations. You will see a return. Tim Ferriss is very health conscious, very healthy, very.
And then the other one?
James Altucher podcast. Send one to him. His wife, Claudia, is a yoga. What's a polite way of saying super freak? She's a hardcore yoga health enthusiast, and they both got gigantic audiences. Altucher is Altucher. I think those are the 2 best recommendations I can make, and I guarantee you that I can't guarantee you, but I would do it if I were you.
Right. No, and you know who else has been friendly to us is the paleo world. Which is kind of was waving, peaking as we came on the scene, and they ate it up. They love the Squatty Potty, and we've got a lot of influential paleo bloggers. Mark Sisson and Rob Wolf and Ben Greenfield, another super athlete, big blogger, that have all talked about the Squatty Potty.
It's funny because as I'm thinking about the people I know that are uber paleo, my wife included, I'm like, they would all just go crazy. On my Instagram page, some of the ones that blew up were people that I know that like paleo. Yeah. So it's really funny.
I mean, it matches. It's going back to your roots. It's ancestral, squatting.
Again, though, we're touching on something that I think most entrepreneurs don't believe in enough, which is that they need to be engaged in finding the niches where the big audiences are, because those are the people that can help them save years on exposure and product knowledge and awareness. And so it's huge.
Comes into play. Just kind of, there's a lot of ways you could go with this Squatty Potty, and I didn't want to do the yell and sell, the Billy Mays route. We wanted to go more organic and reach out to people that really liked it and really wanted to use it. And that's kind of, I think every product's different, and that's kind of the route that we went for initially. The, grassroots, find the people that are going to talk about your product and like it. And nobody had talked about squatting to poop before, Squatty Potty. And now it's becoming mainstream.
Well, I talked about it a few times, but it was always on a camping trip, and I never had fond memories of it. So maybe that's why I was repressed.
I guess I should say nobody talked about the health benefits of squatting to poop.
Yeah, every time someone had a roll of toilet paper in their truck, I thought, oh man, let's hope we don't have to use that. But no, I love mine. So hold on, let me get back on topic with Shark Tank here, because I thought it was interesting. You got offers, you got interest. Kevin opened it up with $350K for 10%, which was exactly half of the valuation that you started with, which is $350 for 5%. Right. I love it because you countered and said, he didn't want 5%. He said he wouldn't do that deal. So you offered him $700 for 10, like a boss, just spit it right out there, at least in the way it was taped. And then Lori came and offered you the exact same thing Kevin did. You countered her $500K to 10%. At this point, I turned to my wife and said, they didn't expect Kevin to be, no one ever expects Kevin to want their product. They just expect him to be the mean guy. But I was curious about the Lori play. So do something that you probably can't do honestly, and that's tell me what your optimal deal was going in. Was it Lori at your price point, or was it Lori and another shark? What did you expect to happen if it worked out the way you hoped?
You want the coup d'etat, the bidding war, right? That's what you want.
Yep. We didn't. We
were a little naive, and
with our product, it requires some digestion. So you can't just hear about the product and be immediately fascinated. Most people, it's like, what? They have to think about it for a little bit and
we did want Lori
absorb it.
Lori was in our sights.
Why?
It's the product, the hard good, the retail aspect of her with her experience.
It's a product that
I'd also, heard from other entrepreneurs that she's more hands-on and she's more of a active partner. And we really did have some hurdles that we needed some help with, like I mentioned in the show. We had a lot of sales, but everything was online. We hadn't been in retail. We hadn't had any retail success. And I think Lori has really, since we partnered with her, greased the wheels, so to speak, of getting us in and moving product into the shelves.
There's been some episodes lately where people have talked about, retail. I was talking with Sleeping Baby, and they basically, Kevin forbid them from going into retail, right? He didn't want to live that nightmare with them. So I think your product makes a lot of sense. As I Google it, I see ads in Target, I see Bed Bath & Beyond. I would like to know, from your experience, where Lori helped you sidestep some of the pitfalls. What things did she do to help you specifically that maybe entrepreneurs who are dreaming of getting to retail or starting the journey into retail, there it is again, hate that word. They're starting to break into retail, that maybe the mistakes that she evaded for you, that where you would have had to learn the hard way and the expensive way on your own had she not.
Well, there's a lot in the negotiations with the buyers, and she has some pull as a celebrity to get better placement for your product, better margin, better placement. What I'm saying is on the shelf, so you're not back in the dark corner of the store, Is it
so you don't get like the American Idol version of the store contract, which is, well, it's your first time to the rodeo, so we're really going to bend you over the Squatty Potty and see, just to hedge our bets.
I just feel like you've got somebody on your team that she does work too, by the way. She
is a very hard worker.
I mean, I've got an inbox with 3 or 4 emails from her from just today. And she works, and that's, we'd heard word on the street that Lori was the one that will, and I'm sure they all do something, they'll contribute, but she was the most accessible. And
she fit our product the best.
We wanted somebody that could. She's also our demographic, kind of a 40s female, shorter,
good looking, well dressed, fun to hang out with.
They can't reach the floor.
Yeah, they do. They have more problems with constipation than taller people. Which makes sense what we say.
I've had a lot of people on that have worked with Lori. Lori's been on the show. We had a great time, and I'm sure you couldn't say enough about her. But I like the specifics because people, they, in your particular episode, Mark exited the negotiation. He was the only one that was really critical of you at all. And part of it had to do with your valuation of a shark partnership. I'd actually like to play that and have you talk about it.
If you're interested, if you really want a shark, then you would entertain that seriously.
Well, the other issue is the 10% and the value of that in a year or 2 years.
So at this point, we're arguing over the additional 5% valuation, 5 to 10.
Get out of both sides of your mouth.
Okay.
Right. So you're talking about wanting to get value for where you see the company going, and that's why you think it's worth $7 million. Then you talk about, boy, if only you had a shark who could get your calls taken, who can help you get in retail. So you're obviously not valuing that, because if you truly did value that, you would not say, look, we're already to 7 million. You would have a value assigned to that could take you to 14 or 21, and you wouldn't argue about 5%. That's the part that doesn't jive. I'm out.
Okay.
You know what's really crazy to me, because I watch Shark Tank all the time. If you don't argue your position and your value, then they get upset with you. If you do argue it, then you get that kind of stuff. So, you're kind of caught in a place where...
Honestly, I didn't want to give up that percentage for that money. But we did want a shark. So how do I defend that? That's where I went in at. I wanted to get full valuation, from the investor, because, already this year, Lori's probably got her money back already. So I don't know why they wouldn't want to. I was just trying to argue that this we're growing fast, and if you want to ride this wave, you need to pay. But they weren't buying it.
It's interesting because, Judy, you said you watch Shark Tank all the time. Well, obviously I watch it quite a bit. And the articles where people rip on Shark Tank, if it's Entrepreneur Magazine or I'm a Venture Capitalist on the weekends, they talk about how unrealistic and non-reflective of reality that it is. But I think, wait a minute, you're exactly right with the no-win situation, because the valuations built in, what I refer to in my book on Shark Tank, is the invisible shark, which is that they're going to get a valuation that's, their position is going to potentially quadruple after the show airs.
Right.
And how do you negotiate that? Well, because it's inevitable. I mean, a lot of people are doing 30, 40, 50% of lifetime sales in the first 2 weeks after they air. So I tell people, you know what, make a deal on TV and just see what happens after that, because you're going to get, I mean, I don't even say it. I've had a dozen people on the show say, you know what, the 5, 10, 20% that we were negotiating, I think Ice Chips comes to mind because they almost made a horrible deal. And they're like, the valuation we almost gave up for $200,000 was worth $2 million 3 months later. So it's a question I wanted to ask you, because it sounds like Lori's been a big benefit, maybe because the percentage overall was much smaller than the average Shark Tank deal, if the deal went through or if it was renegotiated, because I want to ask you about your sales too. They must have been phenomenal after you aired.
Yeah. Because we don't know officially what, but I think that we've broken records as far as sales after an airing.
Yeah. Well, so when Amazon was down for that 6 hours, I'm like, it's got to be the Squatty Potty.
Yeah.
Someone pooped all over the website.
By the time it aired, I know, it aired on the East Coast. By the time it aired in Utah, when we watched it here and I looked at the sales, I dropped to my knees. I thought something was wrong with my screen. I thought something was wrong with my computer. I thought the decimal places were misplaced.
Okay, now you have to at least give us a hint, because this is unreal. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's millions of dollars in Squatty Potties. So,
so have your goal for the year, and I assume it was 2014, was 7 million. And whether you figured Shark Tank in that equation or not, I'm assuming you've surpassed that now in 2015, or you did last year.
We made our goal. But we kind of projected Shark Tank into those projections, yes, but it exceeded that. So
let's back into it. What do you expect to do in 2015?
I think that we put on the goal is $10 million. I think we'll probably do closer to 12 or 15.
Fantastic. And how about your margins? Lori, I know sometimes likes to get in there, change the pricing, help you with the sourcing.
Yeah, you start doing a lot of retail.
It's a race to the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Exactly.
It's just nothing like nothing like your website.
The good thing is that we make them here in the USA. We can compete against anyone. If somebody wants to put a stool out there for $19.99, we can But we're making unique and quality products now. You've seen that white one, but now we've got a more sleek, modern one. We're just trying to, flood the market with all the different, models and stay relevant.
When you go into retail, of course your sales figures for the year go up, but your margins are way just much smaller than on a website, and so. Yeah, we'll have to see through the years. We don't even really know for sure. Our accountant hasn't even got figures for this year.
Honestly, we were all answering phones. Even our CFO, he's just barely gotten time to reconcile books now. And I was on the phones. Mom was on the phones.
We were way understaffed. For what happened.
Yeah, you should have got all the kids from Christmas. They all got a free Squatty Potty. I ought to call them over. Get them on the phone.
Everyone. We had any phone that was available in our office. We had people on their cell phones.
And we thought we'd prepared for it, but Lori told. Well,
she told us to have.
That we have done by far more than any other product on Shark Tank.
Immediately following
in the first week of after our airing.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
That's congratulations. That's fantastic. Yeah. Now, were you all using Squatty Potties at the viewing party? Like, did everyone have their feet up on one?
We all had I Poop Today t-shirts and buttons and pins.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Before we wrap up, there's one thing that happened in the tank that Barbara has this certain thing that she does. She uses body language to make her mind up pretty quickly. Yeah. And she took a little bit of a dig at you, Bobby. So we got to get this out there and get your reaction to it.
I'm perfect. Yeah.
There's something about you that I'm not believing.
Oh.
No, I trust your mom. You're hopping and weaving a lot.
I trust your mom. But you, not so much. Mom, I was ready for you to come to his defense. Be like, hey, Barbara, why don't you sit back down on the Squatty Potty?
I did. I said, Bobby's really trustworthy. I'm not quite sure where that comes from.
That actually came out of left field. we had taken, there was this whole tarot card thing that wasn't shown as well, where I drew a tarot card, and the card I drew was the Queen of Coin, which is actually a card of abundance. It's a really, not that I'm a believer in tarot. I don't, I believe in, I don't believe in tarot, but that's okay. And I think maybe, she kind of caught on to that, and she just didn't. It was a personal thing. I mean, I don't know, making a business decision based on tarot. Maybe it's. It
sounds like she was insulted because she believes she's the Queen of Coin. I think that's.
I don't know. I think she
happened?
did, actually.
She said that before he drew the card. If she said that, and then she says, "Here, I want to prove." She wanted to prove her point. So then she had him come over and draw a tarot card, and he drew the Queen of Coin, which is the best financial card you can draw. And I think it set her back a little bit.
It's all right.
But it's okay.
There's something about you that I'm not believing.
She just didn't get the right card. She didn't believe it.
He didn't draw the right card at all.
In the basement at the Alamo. All right. You know what? So I already let it out of the bag. You did a deal with Lori, but I love reliving it. So one last time, we'll play your triumphant exit from the tank.
A shark can't get interested in 5%. I'm not doing it for less than 10, and never would I.
Actually, we're going to take Lori's offer.
There you go.
Great. I know it helps a lot of people. I do know that. Yeah, I know that this really works.
It does work.
Congratulations, guys.
All right. Cheers. Partnering with Lori means that we can get the message out that squatting is healthier, and just as people shouldn't be smoking, they shouldn't be sitting to poop.
Ooh, there you got the little FDA dig in there, right? Yeah. The medical comparison. Yes. Did you get a letter from the government?
No.
Be careful.
We've had to really dumb down our claims, but
you mentioned you needed the money, or I'm sure you didn't need the money, but you wanted it in order. Your explanation was that you wanted to actually get some. How do I want to word this? Some medical certifications, or get it approved through the FDA as a medical device.
FDA clearance, and it's not approval or anything. It's just that this product will not harm you.
Does that mean that it complies? Like then they can provide it through Medicare or subsidize it?
Yes, then they can subsidize it.
Well, that's the first step is compliance, and then it's Medicare reimbursement. But we honestly haven't had time to pursue it yet, but it's still in our sights. It's a lot of red tape, and it's a lot of studies, clinical studies, and it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, in this instance, I usually ask people, tell us some of the mistakes you made, take us back a couple of years and what you would do differently, but you've just exploded, no pun, since you hit the scene. And I don't know if you can really claim that you've made any huge mistakes because you're selling them as fast as you can make them. So I would like you to talk to the entrepreneurs out there struggling to either get on Shark Tank or to get into retail or really to make a big impact, and speak to them about, maybe what are entrepreneurs doing wrong? What things have you done that others haven't, aside from having a product that really helps people? Or is that it? Is that the secret?
That was it. I think that the concept, we knew it worked. There was just nothing out there to fill that need, and we filled it up. We filled the need.
Our customers are probably the most valuable thing we have, because one customer that's happy will tell 20 people. And
it's our main source of attribution.
I do talk to other entrepreneurs, and they're really kind of stingy. I just tell people, hey, if you're gonna start a business, plan on giving away, and if you love your product and you know it works, feel confident that others will. And one happy customer is another 20 happy customers.
I'm sure they're thinking, yeah, well, if I sold $1 million in my first year, I would definitely do that.
No, we gave away a lot of product before we had anything at all. We had to give it away in order to get anywhere at all.
In order to get people to talk about it.
Yeah.
So speaking of friends, we played the clip of the the in your rear endo, I call it, from earlier in the show, in your rear endo. But is it still the running joke, like in your cul-de-sac? Do you have a personalized license plate referencing bowel movement? Like, is it just, have you totally branded your lives with number 1, 2, and 3? Tell me what your personal life is like now that you're famous for the Squatty Potty.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to.
We haven't even had a chance to leave.
We work so hard.
We don't get out much right now.
I'm sure I would just, if I was your neighbor, I would be like, really? It's incredible. Like,
our
over there laundering money with poop. It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like it was before, actually. It doesn't seem like life has changed.
Well, that's good. Tell us about social media. The one question I do have is, where are you seeing the best returns, and what tactics are you using to really make efficient and powerful your social media presence?
Facebook, PPC ads.
Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Excellent. I was doing a podcast with Sleeping Baby, and one of them came up, and I was laughing hysterically, but I couldn't tell him why, because I'm seeing one of your poop ads. They're pretty funny.
They work for us, so...
we didn't talk about this, but we're just about wrapped up. I think it was a great session. Do you want to do a giveaway? Because I know people are going to go crazy to get their hands on a Squatty Potty, and I'm sure they're all willing to buy one, but I'd love to give one or two of them away.
We are the giveaway.
Yes.
All right. So if you go to sharktankpodcast.net, when you hear this episode, you'll have 1 week from the date of airing, and it's going to be /Squatty Potty. Nothing tricky on this one. We're just going to use the name of the product. But the question is, what are they going to win? What are we going to give away as a contest?
We'll do the whole bathroom bundle. So they'll get a Squatty Potty, a Refresh It bidet, which is amazing, and also the Sweet Loo, which is our after you potty spray.
Oh man!
Well, actually, you spray it in the toilet before you potty.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the before you go spray,
and it masks the odor. And so when you walk out of that bathroom, nobody knows you've been there.
Yeah.
This is going to be another one of the contests where every single person I know texts me. We'll get 1,000 people will join, and 300 will be people that I know going, hey.
It's the full better bathroom experience from Squatty Potty.
And then we also throw in a bottle of, called Good Move. It's a product that took me a year to formulate. I have a good friend who's an herbalist. It's completely natural, has probiotics and enzymes, and it's just really good for bowel health, and it'll really clean you out.
Wow. I'm floored. What is the retail value of this just colossal load of stuff you're giving away?
Let's see here. 70, about $109.
Man, this is fantastic. I love it. I can't wait. But I just want to thank you for your time. I thought it was inspirational. It was a great story. It's a useful product. It had all the right pieces, and the mother and son team, it worked. So very excited about your success and about the future. So thank you for jumping into the Shark Tank podcast, and good luck out there.
Hey, TJ, thanks for having us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for jumping in to the Shark Tank podcast. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes and head over to sharktankpodcast.net to get the show notes from each episode and join the free Shark Tank Insiders list. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Shark Tank Podcast and on Twitter at Shark Tank PDcast.
I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it. I have a little. I keep it in a jar on top of my refrigerator. I'd like to put more in that jar. That's where you come in.